So the flip jump is another one of our toe jumps. People that aren't really that familiar with ice skating commonly confuse it with a flip that you may do in gymnastics, but it's absolutely not that. It's another one of our single rotation jumps to begin with. As I've mentioned, it's a toe jump. You're taking up off of your right toe pick this time and trying to jump up into the air to complete your single rotation. So let's take a look at the entrance for a single flip jump. Now the two most common ways to get into this flip entrance are from a 3-turn or a mohawk. So you've got your left forward outside 3-turn option with your right toe pick digging in behind, or the same thing with a right forward inside mohawk with, again, the right toe pick digging in behind. But notice once I perform either of these two entrances, I'm in exactly the same position. That position is left arm in front, right arm behind, and the right toe pick directly behind my left foot also. Now notice the similarity to my arm positions compared to all of the other jumps apart from the 3 jump or the axle jump. You want to make sure that you hit that position strongly with that left arm in front and that right arm behind you. Again, that left arm checks your rotation and that right arm generates the rotation. So once you've tapped your right toe pick in, your arms are in that position, that's when things really start to move along, and that's when the jump and the height and also the rotation begins to be created. So let's take a look. I'm in my position here with my head slightly to the right, my arms in position and my right toe pick in here. Now similar to the other toe jump that we've looked at so far, the toe loop, you have a draw of the feet together. You want to make sure that you really get that draw of the feet together, because if you try and jumping when your feet are far apart, A, you're not going to have your balance. B, when you want to take off, you're trying to push up off your right toe pick. And if you haven't drawn your feet together, you've still got a lot of weight forward over this left foot here. So if you try and push up off the right toe pick, you're going to push yourself that way. Whereas actually in reality, for this jump, we want to be pushing up into the air in that direction to keep the jump flowing and moving. So make sure you finish that draw together so you can get all of your weight over that right toe pick and both of your feet underneath you going up into the jump. Very important to draw the feet together. Whilst drawing the feet together, that's when the arms can start to be used as well. You don't want to move the arms until you tap the toe in, but once you tap the toe in, that's when the right arm can start to come around. And notice that my body starts rotating with it. So my left arm's not staying way in front here and blocking myself. I'm allowing my left shoulder to move with my body here. It should never go back this way and around the corner, but you should allow yourself to create that rotation by allowing the whole body to move. So your hips and shoulders stay together the whole time. You always move as one unit here. So another thing to really focus on is look at how bent my left knee is at the front here. I've done my 3-turn and I've tapped my foot in with a really nice and bent left knee, but my right leg is completely straight when my toe taps in. It's kind of, you want to use that momentum that you've built up with some speed to tap that right toe in, and it's going to kind of almost send you flying up into the air. That's where some of your height is going to be created. The rest of it is coming from that left knee pushing up. Now watch as I draw my feet together, my right knee starts to bend, so then I've really got something to push up from. Now don't try and think about this too deeply with the right knee, but really think about bending the left knee after your 3-turn or mohawk to get into the entry for the flip. Now at this point, when you've drawn your feet together and your body's starting to rotate around, the only thing that's left to do is to push yourself up into the air and create that jump. If you want a little exercise to try and start yourself off, try and get that draw, push yourself up, and jump to forwards on 2 feet. Just a very small jump, because I always say that landing forwards can be quite tricky sometimes, so just make it a nice small jump that you're completely in control of. But try and practicing that exercise just to make sure you get that feeling of the rotation starting to be created and letting both of the feet come underneath you to jump. If you're trying to jump and your left foot's still over here, getting around to forward is going to be very tricky. You want to make sure both of those feet get together so they're completely underneath you during the jump. Now when it comes to the single flip, you have to make sure that all of your weight is over the right side, because you'll be taking off and landing on the right foot. So make sure that you keep your weight over that right side. On the takeoff here, when you get over to the right foot, it's there. When you jump up in the air, it's still over the right side. And when you land, it's over the right foot. So always on that right side. Anytime you start yanking this left shoulder around and putting too much weight on that left foot when you're in the air, it's game over for you. So the jump's not going to be easy for you. To make it easy, just keep your weight on the right side only. Now when you're up in the air, if you want to prepare for, if you think that you're going to be going further than a single flip jump and you want to start preparing for your double flip jump, make sure that when you draw your feet together and you push up in the air, your left hip folds into your right hip, so you end up getting into a cross position with the feet. So the left foot is in front of the right foot. For a single flip jump, it won't be a very tight position. You know, for a double, and especially triples and quads, we really ask for a really tight position because that's what helps you spin so fast. But for a single flip, you're only doing one rotation, so you want to make sure that that position is nice and loose here. Now all that's left is to land in your nice lovely landing position that looks good and it's strong and balanced on a nice strong bent knee. So some common mistakes I see with the flip jump are that when people do their entrances going into the jump, after they turn, they keep turning. So before they've tapped, their body is way gone. Again, your left arm is there to check the rotation. So after you've turned, you want to have a moment here without moving anything. Your left arm stays in front of you and your right arm stays behind you. If you allow your arms to keep turning, then all it's going to do is cut your left arm out here. So again, that's weight on the left side that you don't want, and your right arm out here. So instead of being able to use all of this for your rotation, you've now only got this for your rotation, which is going to make it really tough for you to turn that even single rotation for the flip jump. Another mistake I sometimes see is after your entrance, again, coming from a lot of the mistakes coming from the entrance, is after you've turned it, their weight is too far forward. So you might be here with your head looking down and your body curved over here and you're too bent over at the hips. Now all this is going to do is when you're trying to draw your feet up together is keep your weight there, keep your body forward. You want your body to be able to get back over that right foot to jump. So when you're pushing up over that right foot, your entire body is completely over that right foot. If there's anything left behind there, when you're trying to push up off your right foot, it's going to send you back in the direction that you came from. So what you'll find is if you end up going into the flip jump with a lot of speed, you might come to a complete standstill by the time that you've landed the jump. If you're doing that, that's when you know that you're leaning forward a little bit too much on that takeoff and you're not transferring your weight back onto that right foot and allowing that jump to flow, keeping that speed all the way through the jump. So as I just mentioned about keeping the speed the whole way through the jump, is you want to make sure with whatever speed you have going into the jump, you end up coming out with about the same speed. Yeah, you may lose some, but you can see that the flow kept on going throughout the whole jump. So as you're tapping, you want to make sure you draw those feet. As you jump, you're pushing yourself. As you land on a nice soft knee bend, on a nice curved running edge to keep that flow throughout the jump.